37 claimed killed, 5 confirmed dead, 2 escaped victims, all at the hands of one man. Who is it? Well, that's a question that has lingered for years. Well, and we might be on the cusp of finding that answer. Today I'll be informing you of the serial murderer, the Zodiac Killer. His murder started in the 60s, and he's known for targeting young couples, as well as for his ciphered letters that he would send to the newspapers. It's been a cold case for so many years. Up until recently, a group of investigators seemed to have found out who it was. So, while we all have a true crime junkie inside us dying to find out who the suspect is ourselves, the people who uncovered this murder were a group of ex-investigators, police, agents, and news journalists. So, that leads me to our next question. What exactly did the Zodiac Killer do? As mentioned before, the Zodiac Killer targeted young couples. His first victims were high school sweethearts. They went on a date and then went partying. However, the night ended in tragedy. On December 20th, 1968, the boyfriend was shot in the head, and then the girlfriend was shot in the back 5 times as she tried to flee the scene. The second victims, also a young couple, just a few miles down the road.
At this time, please release the freshmen and sophomores to the gym. Release all freshmen and sophomores to the gym.
Well, let me get back to this. The next murder is where things start to get weird. According to the Hidduston Times, the Zodiac Killer stabbed this couple multiple times. Then, instead of leaving them for dead, called the police admitting his crime, but then was never heard from again. His fourth victim, also a bit different, he stabbed a male cab driver. So, what made this killer stand out in the media so prominently? Well, that would be his ciphered letters to the newspapers. According to biography.com, on August 1st, 1969, 3 different newspapers received the same handwritten letter from the Zodiac Killer. The San Francisco Examiner, San Francisco Chronicle, and Vallejo Times-Herald all were sent the same message beginning like this. Dear Editor, I am the killer of 2 teenagers from last Christmas at Hernon Lake. These letters contained details only the murderer could know about the victims. As well as that, he included ciphered messages mocking the police, containing information about his identity, about the victims, about his killings. So, you may ask, why did these newspapers continue to publish this content? Well, if they didn't, he threatened to kill more. Did anyone was ever able to uncipher these messages? Well, there was one couple who was able to uncipher one message. It wrote about how he found killing fun and found excitement in killing all of these people. The murders and letters abruptly stopped in 1974. While the murders may have stopped, the investigations did not. A team of unofficial investigators, known as the Case Breakers, said to uncrack the code to his ciphers. This team, according to The Guardian, on October of 2021, the Case Breakers, 40 ex-investigators, solved the case. When they unlocked these ciphers, they were led to a name, Gary Francis Post. This name led them to identifying a person. When they found him and I looked at his pictures, they saw that he had an identical scar on his forehead, matching the sketches from police records. Regardless of this information, according to CNN, both the FBI and police have put out statements saying that the evidence the case breakers have presented is not enough to close the case. So, 37 claimed kills, 5 deaths, 2 victims, all at the hands of one man, Gary Francis Post. The mystery of the Zodiac Killer seems to have come to an end. After years of investigation, the brutal murders in Cyprus have finally been solved by the case breakers. But do you think the cold case has really been solved? Do you think Gary Post is really the one to blame? Or do you think the Zodiac Killer is still out there, waiting for you to solve this puzzle?